Oh, right, okay, good. Thanks. Okay. Good morning, everybody. There's no one in the Gompa, so is all of you out there? Actually, it's allergy, I've decided. It's not a cold, so let's hope that it dissipates. Thank you for that. So let's just take a moment to settle our minds, to bring ourselves into the space or our own space, and just relax the body and the mind. Feeling the cushion beneath you, the chair beneath you. Feeling into your body. And giving thought to how you're sitting, and you're sitting cross-legged or on a chair. If you're cross-legged, thinking about the 7-point Varachana position. Placing your hands in the meditation mudra in your lap. Right thumbs touching and right palm on top of the left. Shoulders level, back straight. Your vertebrae like a pile of coins stacked one upon the other. Tilting your head slightly forward. Resting your tongue at the back of the top teeth. Just gently closing your eyes. Relaxing your brow, your jaw. We'll just do a bit of breathing meditation for a few minutes. That's interesting. Oh no, I do have a clock. Good. So watching the breath as it enters and leaves the nostrils, or the rise and fall of the abdomen. So we just hold the breath as our object of meditation. Just as soon as we notice we've wandered from that object, very gently and kindly with ourselves, bringing ourselves back to the breath. As soon as you notice that you've wandered to other objects, thoughts, feelings, sensations or sounds, just very gently and kindly with yourself, bringing your attention back to the breath. So now, letting go of the object, your breath, and we generate a motivation for our practice. So opening your heart wide and visualizing before you, sorry, so gathering all living beings before you, all in human form, filling the entire sphere of space before you. And connecting with all these human beings, thinking that they're just like me, they're just wanting happiness and they're not wanting suffering. That's all we ever want, just wanting happiness and not wanting suffering. And it's a very simple way to connect with other living beings. And that we're all the same, we're all equanimous, all even. So developing the wish to benefit them ultimately and leading them to enlightenment, to benefit them temporarily by wishing to never ever harm, to only benefit, to develop loving kindness and compassion, and to interact with other living beings, in particular humans, and especially those whom are close to us. Engaging with them with loving kindness and compassion, understanding, gentleness, patience. So may I engage in this meditation to train my mind in the stages of the path, in the Lam Rim, the graduated path to enlightenment. So I'm going to read some words from a text. It's actually a tantric text, but the part I'm going to read is entirely composed of Lam Rim, the preliminaries to the practice of Tantra. So here we go. You may wonder, well then, how do I go about training in the common path? According to the explanation in Joa Atisha's Lamp on the Path to Enlightenment, we should train our minds in both thought and deed in relation to a fully qualified spiritual master of the Mahayana. So I'm just going to pause different places for you to reflect on the meaning of the words. Therefore, in accordance with that teaching, you generate an extremely powerful desire to extract the essence of this life of leisure and endowments. By considering that you only get this life of leisure and endowments this one time, and it is not something you will repeatedly obtain. So contemplating the rarity of these leisure and endowments and their great meaning, you should generate an extremely powerful wish to extract the meaning from your life of leisure and endowments. Regarding the term meaning, this indicates attaining the state of enlightenment for the welfare of living beings. However, if you have not severed your attachment to this life, that attachment will obstruct your goal and you will not be able to develop a strong wish to practice Dharma. And when you do, it won't last for long. Therefore, you should meditate on the Dharma teachings on death and impermanence. Taking a moment to reflect on death and impermanence, thinking that death is definite, the time of death is uncertain, and at the time of death, the only thing that can help is Dharma. Just thinking about those three main points. And when we reflect on these three main points and the other 3 points in each point, which I'll let you reflect upon yourself, it leads us to 3 determinations. I must practice Dharma. I must practice pure Dharma. And I must practice pure Dharma now. There really isn't any time left. We need to do it now. And it goes on, if you don't generate faith and conviction in the cause and effect of karma that are more than mere lip service, your activities will not become Dharma practice, and you will not develop confidence in the objects of refuge. And as a result, you will experience suffering by wandering in the lower realms after your death. This is how you meditate on the path of a being of a small scope. You meditate on the path of being of a middling scope by contemplating that if you do not overcome your attachment to the good things of gods and men in your future lives, you will not generate a natural aversion to your attachment to samsara, and your aspirations for liberation will be mere words. Therefore, once you perceive the entirety of samsara as a mass of blazing fire, you will have an extremely powerful wish for liberation and will work toward attaining the state of liberation. After that, you contemplate how all living beings in the three realms have been nothing but your kind mothers. Therefore, they have been kind to you in the past, and they will be kind to you in the future. Yet these kind mothers are oppressed by the suffering of samsara. Without letting this feeling dissipate, think how disappointed the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas would be with you, and how utterly vile it would be for you to think only of yourself, while remaining in a state of bliss within the blissful sphere of nirvana. Therefore, sincerely apply yourself with great diligence to generating the mind of enlightenment based on love and compassion. And take the engaging Bodhisattva vows while training in the Bodhisattva's way of life through practicing the 6 perfections, the 4 ways of gathering disciples, and so forth. This procedure is clearly the indicated meaning of Jowo J, a teacher's oral instructions, as expressed in the lamp on the path to enlightenment. Therefore, this is certainly how you should practice, while relying perfectly in both thought and deed upon a fully qualified spiritual master who will teach you about the great meaning and difficulty obtaining this life of leisure and endowments. And if through training your mind in that way, you develop the wish to extract the essence of this life of leisure and endowments, then the supreme way to extract its essence is through entering the Mahayana, the gateway to which is bodhicitta. For that reason, you should earnestly apply yourself to the means of pacifying unfavorable conditions to generating the mind of enlightenment. Furthermore, dispel unfavorable conditions by turning the mind away from this life through thoughts of impermanence and death. Dispel unfavorable conditions by turning the mind away from samsara in its entirety by contemplating the faults of samsara. Train in the Bodhisattva's way of life by generating the mind of enlightenment through meditating on love, compassion, and so forth. I'll just read some verses now. J. Milarepa stated, "If you do not contemplate the purity of cause and effect through virtuous and non-virtuous actions, the subtle ripening of cause and effect may result in the unbearable suffering of the lower realms. I beseech you, employ discretion and mindfulness." And J. Milarepa continues, "If you do not observe the faults of desirable objects and do not turn away from grasping at them from within, you will not be liberated from the prison of samsara. I beseech you, apply the antidote to the source of suffering, with the mind realizing the illusory nature of all things." And next, If you do not repay the kindness of all living beings in the 6 realms who have been your father and mother, you incur the faults of deviating to the lesser vehicle. Therefore, I beseech you, train in bodhicitta through the force of great compassion. The next verse is related to the parting from the 4 attachments. And there are two versions, so I'll read both of them. If you have attachment to this life, you are not a Dharma practitioner. If you have attachment to samsara, there will be no liberation. If you have attachment to your own welfare, you do not have bodhicitta. And if you have attachment to grasping at inherent existence, it is not emptiness. And the other version is, if you have attachment to this life, you are not a Dharma practitioner. If you have attachment to samsara, you don't have renunciation. If you have attachment to your own welfare, you do not have bodhicitta. And if you have attachment to grasping at things, you do not have the view. And the 4 dharmas of Gompapa: may my mind go towards the Dharma. May the Dharma arise as the path. May mistakes on the path be dispelled, and may mistakes arise as exalted wisdom. And to finish, I'll just read the last paragraph. This is stating that you should sequentially train in the paths of small, middling, and great beings, as well as tranquil, abiding, and superior seeing. Therefore, it is absolutely essential to train your mind in the common path as a preliminary. If you practice in that way, it will prevent you from going down each path separately, and is a way of guiding you through all the essential points of the paths of both Sutra and Tantra in their entirety. For this reason, this system is an extraordinarily great teaching that you should come to understand. So now we'll gather together all the merits that we've accumulated from reflecting on the stages of the path and of these words. May we, in fact, be able to generate the path. May we be able, as John Tompa says, to give up on this life. Give up looking for happiness in this life, seeking the attachments of this life, and practice only Dharma. May we be able to develop loving kindness and compassion and the correct view. And may we do this for all these beings that are surrounding us, so that we may lead them to the state of enlightenment by ourselves alone. So thank you, everybody. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the teachings. We'll see you later. Okay, see you later. Thank you. Where is it? Oh, that's not it. Oh, there it is.